My mom and I moved to Boston from New Orleans because I had family in Boston. My mom and dad had a kind of an abusive relationship, and so when I was a baby, I may have been 1 or 2 years old. She and I moved to Boston. Yes, and so we flew there. My mom had family living there, and so we stayed there for about 2 years.
So how old were you? Is that like
I was
baby?
About two years old,
So you
1 or
remember
2.
that?
I don't remember.
Okay, you don't remember.
Oh
that.
no, I wish I could. That would be pretty interesting.
So, but you just knew from being
from my
told.
mom
Yes,
telling me, and
yes.
from my also because we still have family in Boston, and so they remember when my mom and I lived there with them. So yeah, so we moved there for 2 years, and then my mom's father was actually living in California in the Bay Area, and so he and his wife drove to Boston to actually bring us to Oakland. And so we moved to Oakland, and I grew up in Oakland, California. And so I went to school there, high school.
You basically grew up in a single family home.
I grew up with a single mother. Exactly.
Wow.
Truly a single mother.
Right.
Definitely.
Right.
Yes. And
so you were in Oakland. Did you go through all your high school there?
All of my high school.
And what was your ambition in high school like?
Oh my goodness. In high school, you know, there were times where I loved going to school. I loved learning things. I loved computers. Actually, I was in the computer academy, and I still work with computers every single day. I wanted to program computer games when I was in college. I went to school for computer science.
Oh, you did? See,
I
didn't even know that. When you do all these incredible things, and in terms of what you're doing now, it was your background in computer science.
Yes.
That got you, because I'm like, how does this woman do it? So do you see you were studying computer science in college?
I was studying computer science in college, and I was in the computer academy at my high school.
Wow.
And so that really just kind of catapulted me into loving technology. And when I turned 18 years old, I actually got a modeling contract in Los Angeles.
Of course you did, because you're beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
So you did some modeling. So that's what brought you down to California.
Yes, I started modeling at 16.
Okay.
And it was in San Francisco, because San Francisco does have a market. And I got an agency.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'9".
5'9".
So I'm 5'9".
Okay.
I got an agent, and then I lost that agent probably just as quickly as I got him.
Really?
And I could not get an agent in San Francisco. And so I was like, well, I still wanted to model, and I just kind of felt like, well, maybe I'm not supposed to. But I didn't really give up on it. I just was like, it's not working in this city. And then when I turned 18, a friend of mine had a newspaper clipping, and they were casting for models in San Francisco. And I said, well, I'll just go to it's like an open call. I went to the open call. And
you didn't give up?
No, I didn't give up.
Okay.
I didn't give up. I didn't pursue it as aggressively as I had been prior. Plus, I was 16 years old. So I actually was able to get an agency from that, but everything was in Los Angeles. And so that's what brought me out to Los Angeles, was that I had gotten an agency and I had gotten a modeling contract.
So that moved you to California.
It did, or to LA, to Los Angeles.
Okay, Los Angeles. Wow, see, from New Orleans to Boston, to having your mom's dad drive you to Oakland, go to school, and computer science, and now modeling brings you to LA.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, so did you get to work? And
I did.
Really?
I worked quite a bit, actually. I worked quite a bit during that time, especially it was like early 2000s, late 90s. There were a lot of music videos, so that was like a big
like
industry.
MTV stuff.
A lot of MTV videos, a lot of the artists that are still out today, and some of them that are not currently out. I was in a lot of their music videos, but I did a lot of magazine covers. I traveled all over the world.
So it kind of helped you with like your income. Did you need to have another job, or did it really
I
take
didn't.
Wow,
I didn't.
Most
I
people
did not
can't
have
say
another
that.
job. No.
So, okay, so you're modeling, and then obviously, what happened from there?
From there, I actually booked a movie. So, sometimes when you come to LA, even though you may say, I just want to be a model, or I just want to do this one thing, everyone's like, well, you should be hosting, you should be modeling, you should be acting. They want you to do a plethora of things. And I really wasn't necessarily here to be an actress, but I said, well, I'll give it a try and let's see what happens. And so I booked a movie that was actually shooting in Miami. And that movie was starring a rapper. Her name was Trina. She still performs now. And she was pretty popular at that time in the Miami sector, and it was called A Miami Tale. And so that was one of my first, I guess, starring movie roles.
Really?
And I moved to Miami for like a year actually from that.
Wow.
I did, which was really cool.
See, I don't know any of this, so that, and it's just incredible to hear this. Okay, so you were in Miami. Did you go back to LA?
I did. I was flying back and forth because I still had some clients, some modeling clients that I was working with, like catalogs.
And this is before Instagram.
No, this is way before Instagram.
This is like the real deal.
This is real.
This is modeling.
I'll call it real modeling.
Okay,
yeah.
good. Yes, because Instagram stuff is so different.
Exactly. This is when you had to look at the film in the sky, when you had a little slide.
Right.
Yeah, that's when this was.
There you go. So you were in Miami. Did you come back to Los Angeles?
I did. I moved back to LA, I would say after about a year and a half. I moved back to LA and I just continued with my career. I was a little bit older then. I think I was around 24 at that time, and I started thinking about having a family and getting married. My mindset was shifting a little bit. I wanted to have a little bit more structure to my life. Yeah.
Yeah, because modeling is just all over the place.
I was all over the place, traveling everywhere. You know, sometimes I'm waking up at 11 o'clock in the morning, noon, going, where am I? What day is it? You know, you're in a different hotel, different people, different models. Sometimes you have to room with models as well. So it's just a different lifestyle. Yeah, it's almost a fantasy.
So how did you meet your
Oh my goodness!
Father of your children.
I started hosting television.
Okay.
And I did a show for HGTV. I did shows for UPN, the WB. I did a bunch of different shows. I did music shows, red carpet, and I just found a love in hosting television. And one of the gentlemen that was a teacher or coach in the hosting class, he was also a host himself. He was on like Animal Planet. Matt Galan is his name. He introduced me to my husband at that time. Yeah. And so my ex, I think Matt and he used to play baseball together. And so that's how I was able to meet him.
Right.
Yes.
So you then you're married, have children, obviously.
Yes.
And then obviously it didn't work out.
It didn't work out. Yeah.
Are you guys still friends?
We are super close. It's so funny because we're always at the different games because we have two little boys. So
2 boys.
They play soccer,
How old are they
baseball.
right now?
I have a 9-year-old little boy and a 12-year-old little boy. Yeah, and so they're heavy in sports, and people still think that we're married because we get along so well.
It's not easy, I'm sure, because maybe I don't know.
I think the way that we made it easy is that we learn to focus on the kids. If we make it too personal or we have opinions about each other, that's when things go in a wrong direction. And to be frank, if our goal was to focus on each other, we would still be together, right? So that vision of the relationship is gone.
Say that again to me. Wait. So if you didn't have children, maybe? I don't know what you're saying.
No, so for me, we were married. When you're married, your focus is each other.
Right.
So you're communicating about, hey, I don't like when you do this, or
right.
Let's make sure that we spend more time together, or let's cultivate each other.
I see what you're saying.
Once you're not together and you have children, if you continue to keep that restraint or that conversation in the relationship, it just can create a lot of turmoil and unnecessary commentary, because the focus needs to be on the children, not on what you don't like about each other or how you think the other person should be.
I got you.
Right? As long as the children are safe and they're being loved and cared for, that's the focus. Right. And so because we focus on the kids, and maybe 5 or 10% on things that he and I may need to tweak, we're only tweaking them because of the kids. We're not tweaking them because of each other.
Right.
Right.
Most people don't even analyze it that way.
Right.
Because they don't really care. They just are not happy and they just try to make something work. But the analogy that you're trying to show our audience is that, listen, there is a formula, or there's a way to make sure that your children come first.
Definitely.
And stuff like that. That's amazing, because I mean, I own a dance studio and there's so many parents that aren't together and there's no communication. It's like, who's picking? It's just I'm so happy to hear that, because most people can learn and grow from hearing what you're saying and how to manage your children together. as a
Definitely.
single parent. Yeah.
And it does take effort. It is not normal, if you would give it a term, to communicate with someone that you do not want to be with anymore for the rest of your life.
That's tough, right? That's really
you're
tough.
like, I'm choosing for us to not be together, then I'm also put in a situation where I have to communicate with you.
Right.
And usually communication is one of the top reasons why you're not together. Communication has a breakdown, right? And so you're forced into communicating. So that's why you have a lot of co-parenting situations or divorcees who are not able to communicate because they never really found out how to communicate internally, right? So they have to work on that themselves and say, how do I want to show up when I communicate? How do I want to communicate to my spouse? How do I want to see my kids see us communicate?
And so they probably do so much better as kids growing up when they see some.
Oh, definitely.
Right?
And kids are sneaky and tricky too. If they think they can play parents against each other or tell dad one thing and tell mom another, and then mom and dad they know aren't in communication, the kids use that to their advantage. And so we work together. If they're on punishment at dad's house, they're on punishment at mom's house.
Gotcha.
You know, if something happens in the household at my house, I get on the phone and communicate about what's going on, and he does the same thing. So that the child knows that we are the parents and you still are underneath us, and our goal is to guide you. So if we're not in communication, then we're not really focused on the kids, right? So we're focused on how we feel about the situation, and how we feel doesn't matter.
Well, not very many people have this outlook on their children with the spouse. But I feel like that's probably why you're so good at what you do, and you created this amazing. You're the CEO of Single Moms Planet, and I feel like that is such a great thing that people should know about. And tell me just how you got started with that, because I think that's now, from your background, to see what kind of person you are, that this is why you are doing what you're doing.
Definitely. So Single Moms Planet started because I got divorced. And
which you didn't think it was gonna. I mean, you never think you're gonna get divorced when.
No, you never go into something thinking that you're going to be divorced. Some people probably do. Some people might have a strategy of their marital situation. Who knows, right? Everybody has their own path. But for my situation, my goal was not to get a divorce. But we did. We got a divorce, and we did not necessarily know how to communicate at the beginning. We did not know how to focus on the kids in the beginning. So all of those things were evolutions. You know, I had personal counseling of my own. I had hours and hours of just conversations with people outside of us to really figure out, how do I communicate with my ex? How do I make sure that our kids are healthy, strong, and free, and not feeling like something happened to them through the divorce, right? And so I was like, how do I take responsibility for the fact that they didn't choose this, right? That that's so clear and key. They did not choose this. As adults, we made choices and things ended up the way that they did, but the kids shouldn't suffer because of it. Yeah.
So Single Moms Planet, tell me, what's it, who's involved, how did you involved? What kind of activities do you do to help single parents, men and women, right?
Yes. So Single Moms Planet is a community of single parents, and we have tons of supporters. Christy, you're one of the supporters. We have athletes, we have husbands and wives, we have people who don't have kids, who never want kids, we have married couples that support the organization, and we do things from camping trips in the summertime.
Activities for them.
We do a lot of child enrichment programs. From our research, we noticed that typically the number one thing that ends up lacking is child enrichment when children are being raised in a single parent household, because parents don't typically, maybe they don't have the resources or they just don't have the time. And so then you combine that with not having resources and not having time, it just really puts a dent in the kid not having the experiences that other kids may get to experience. So every year we do a summer camping trip, we do a tennis camp with UCLA. We do,
I know
ice
that
skating.
you get people to help you.
I
feel like there's a program that somebody came in and they help do ride share, or I don't remember what that was.
Yes, we have a company called Kango, who actually became a sponsor of ours, and they give discounted ride sharing for families. So for kids who need to go to soccer practice, or for kids who need to get to school or get picked up.
So there's so many things that
tons of resources
in your community of what you do.
Yes.
You can find solutions for being a single parent.
Definitely.
You know, that they don't even, they just don't know where to start. So I mean, I'm excited to let you share this story because I feel like I know so many single parents and they really don't know how to, like, I don't know, package whatever they need to do to make their kids be in the best spot. And when you have this really huge event, I know it's every year,
yes.
and you do it, and it's like the high-end class. It's usually at where the peninsula.
The peninsula.
The peninsula, and so many people come and they give you contributions, and you do so many silent auctions and stuff like that. I love being a part of that, and I see so many things happen from there. And didn't you just you do somebody every year and you give them some kind of award? It was Anastasia got an award.
Yes, Anastasia of Beverly Hills. Sorry. No, that's okay.
Anastasia, but isn't it Anastasia of her eyebrows or what?
Yeah, it may be Anastasia.
I think that Anastasia. Is the eyebrow. Everybody knows them from
Anastasia of Beverly Hills.
Right,
yeah, that's the name of her company.
But her name is Anastasia.
I don't know if it's any differentiation.
Okay,
sure.
That's interesting. We'll have to find that out.
We'll have to find out, yeah.
And then you do athletes, and you reward, people that help you a lot. I know that Asia and Roger Saffold,
yes,
they help you a lot, and he's with the Rams, and
he just got transferred over he got traded to the Titans.
He did not.
Yeah.
Okay.
He did.
Oh my
he did.
goodness.
Yeah.
See, we gotta
I gotta stay in touch.
We gotta talk more. But to end this interview in a sense of showing what you are doing and what is your ageless ambitions for yourself, because I feel like that's the big picture in what you're doing. And what's your goals? What are your dreams for you?
For me, oh wow, I have a few.
Okay.
I know one of the number one things is to get back to hosting television. I hosted television for years, and so I've been working on my reel.
You got to do that.
I've been taking time apart for that. And I would also say just really enjoying my family and my life. Like, I think just having a clear ambition towards happiness and just really empowering other people. Like, that's a huge thing for me too.
Well, sometimes you have to learn to take care of yourself.
Definitely.
And I want everybody to make sure that you check out Ageless Ambitions on EverTalk TV. You can binge watch all the episodes on EverTalk TV in terms of agelessambitionstv.com, and it's on Apple TV and Roku. And we're so excited to have Nev here today. I thank you so much. And please, you guys, come back again and look for Single Moms Planet on Instagram and on Facebook. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Beautiful.
Do you see how fast that goes?
That was quick. I know.
That was like 23 minutes.
Really?
I went over a little bit.
Oh my God.
Okay, sorry. But do you see how it just...
I thought we were talking for 5 minutes.
Do you see?
Literally.
Do you see?
That's crazy.
Did I get out what I wanted to?
No, that was great.
In terms of your thing?
Yeah. I think it was great.
So, there you go.
Take a quick picture.
Oh, here.
Oh.
Stand up. Here, stand up with me.
Oh, stand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or do you want it together? Like, oh, I'm sorry, babe. Okay, Max, come here.
All right, let me wire you up.
Okay.
Nev, that was so fast.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I didn't know you were from New Orleans and then went to... And I didn't know you want to do TV. You got to get back into it. That's what this thing's all about.
I know.
Put yourself in the position to do your CEO of Planet.
I know. I just started refocusing on, like, what do I want to do? Because I've been doing Single Moms Planet for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. You need me to help you? Let's see.
Yeah, pull it out. There we go. Come on down. For you. Oh, all right. Got it? Oh, you got it.
Okay.
We did it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Come on.
This is what Andy does. I mean, he gives platforms for so many people. And this is like, now it's your turn to get your stuff going.
The air drop.
No, it's a, you'll see the lineup. I mean, they have a lot of celebrities because they just gala. It was 20 minutes. Yeah, no way. No way. There's like a ton of celebrities on.